Obviously a tough game. I told the players before the game that, we haven't been tested with hard. Hard kind of defines you in terms of who you are. And we didn't play a great game out there today. We had a lot of self-inflicted wounds, but you can't argue with the fight that the players fought with, and they hung in there and did what they had to do to win the game. So you got to give LSU's players a lot of credit. This is always a tough game. It's always a physical game, and it certainly was all of that in this game tonight. So it's a great win for us. It was a costly win for us. Sean Dion's probably out, and so is Mac Wilson, probably out. So, we already have a couple linebackers that are out. So this is going to be a challenge to be able to sort of get enough guys, but the guys that went in there and played today did a pretty good job. So, we missed the one check when they got in Wildcat when 28 was, the quarterback, and they hit the big run for their touchdown. Half the team checked, half the team didn't. So we were half in and half out. And, that's not a good thing to be. If we'd all done it wrong, it'd have probably been all right. And if we'd all done it right, it probably would have been all right. So, but, we didn't have a lot of consistency on offense in the game, but we made plays when we needed to make them, and we scored enough to win. Getting off the field on third down was a problem in the first half, which is how they kept the ball, kept possession of the ball quite a bit. Did a little better job on that. And in the second half, did a little bit better job of pressuring the quarterback. So, again, this is always a tough game. They have a good team. They're playing really well. This was a good win for us. And, we got a lot of other tough teams to play in the future. We need to look at the things that we need to improve on and try to not have the self-inflicted wounds in the future.
We'll start on the right side with Jalen.
How would you assess Jalen's play tonight, especially those two big third down conversions he had in the second half?
Well, Jalen played a really good game. They played an 8-man front on us all the time and made it really hard for us to run the ball. They ran people at the quarterback a lot to try to take him away in terms of his runs, but some of the scrambles on third downs were real key in the game, and I think he made some really good throws in the game, and one of them got called back. That was a big play, but when people play like that, sometimes it gets big little, and you make some big plays, but it's a little ugly in between, and that's kind of how it was today. But I thought he did a really good job out there.
How did Minka's injury affect how you chose to play base, nickel, and dime?
We played it the same. We just played because it's what we practiced. So we didn't change the personnel groupings in terms of how we played them. Tony Brown had to take Minka's spot. Minka wanted to play. He was begging me to play. He wanted to play. So finally, I said, look, you can play in dime because he always plays money, which is really kind of a linebacker position. So he's not going to get caught running deep on somebody. And but the guy's a great competitor and really did a good job for us when he was in there.
Front row here with Mark.
I'm just wondering what you saw in the running game. Not a ton of rushing yards there for the team. What did you see from the running backs?
Well, it wasn't good. Like I mentioned, they played an 8-man front most of the time. They were playing mint defense, which is 2 4 eyes and nose and 2 outside backers standing at the end of the line. So you have to be able to throw the ball effectively. They played man-to-man a lot. You got to be able to beat man-to-man. I think we beat man-to-man at times, and at times we had balls. We probably had 2 or 3 balls we could have caught that we didn't catch, and you got to be able to execute in those kind of situations. Discipline to execute is probably the most important thing. I don't care how big the game is, how much emotion you have, you got to channel it in the right direction. And you got to have discipline to execute and be able to focus and make plays and, be the best player you can be when we need you to be the best player. And some of the younger guys on the team, they probably learned a little bit about that, and I'm sure they'll learn and grow from it and get better, and that's what we need our whole team to do.
In the front here with Wayne.
Coach, just on Hamilton and Wilson, are those both knee injuries?
Sean Dion's a knee, Mac's a foot.
Okay. And then with Minka, it looked like a hamstring. For him to even play through that and get to the quarterback, what does it say about, I know you spoke to his competitiveness, but it's just speak to how he was able to play through that, because that's not an easy thing to do.
Well, we just played him in one situation, and he's, more of a short area player, and most of the time with those things, long speed gets you. So we don't know how bad it is. We'll probably do an MRI on it tomorrow and make an assessment, but the fact that he was able to go out there and play probably is an indication that it wasn't too terrible bad, but we'll have to assess it.
So Ben,
How important was J.K. Scott in punting for you guys tonight in field position?
Well, I think he changed the field position 3 or 4 times, was critical in the game, and this was probably his best game all year long in terms of not only the punt, not only the distance, but the hang time, because they were double vicing the gunners and they were taking our gunners out, and our gunners usually are the guys that make the plays, and they only had 6 in the box, so we can release some extra guys from inside, and they did a good job of getting down there in coverage, but the hang time and the distance was very, very effective in changing field position and really important in a game like this.
okay, unless we have another one, I've got Alex here to finish up.
You mentioned the pass rush. Did y'all make any changes at halftime to get more?
I can't.
You mentioned the pass rush, improved in the second half. Did you make any defensive changes or to add to that?
Well, I think that once you create passing situations, it's a little easier to put pass rushers in the game and be able to create more pass rush. A lot of the plays that we tried to generate pressures, they sprinted out once, broke contain. We lost contain. They made a big play on 3rd down. We didn't get them covered a couple times. Levi fell down one time. So, we got to do a better job. When you play a team like this, and I'm going to tell you, this is a very challenging offense to make adjustments to, and our players did a really good job of that. And other than that long run and Wildcat, did a good job of stopping their running game. And we created the 3rd downs, but when you do that, you have to get off the field on 3rd down so they don't extend drives. No different than when you play like a wishbone team. So we didn't do that in the first half, and that allowed them to keep the ball, and I think it made us get a little tired, actually, in the second quarter. But I thought we did a better job on 3rd down in the second half, and I think that was huge in the outcome of the game.